Happy Saturday, everyone. So I don't know if you've ever had a week like this where you just felt like yourself again. That has been this week for me. Not a perfect week, not a dramatic week, but for the first time in a while, I actually feel like I've got some momentum back because I have lost weight again. I've been consistent in the gym, and honestly, I think I needed this week more than I realised. Because the strange thing with weight loss is sometimes it's not the big losses that change your mindset. It's the weeks where you quietly prove to yourself that you are still capable of showing up. Even when the motivation dips, even when the progress slows, even when your head starts telling you nothing's happening. And I know a lot of people watching this probably understand that feeling completely. So in this video, we're going to talk about this week's weigh-in, a few mindset things I've noticed recently, and I'll be answering some of the questions that you've sent in. So let's get straight into it. Hello everyone, I'm Angelo Midlife and welcome back to the channel. Now, I've been on this medicated weight loss journey now for around about 10 months now, and I have lost 75 pounds. Every single Sunday without fail, I get the injection out, I stick it in my belly, and I am taking 10 milligrams at the moment. Now, this channel's all about sharing what I've learned along the way, telling you about the highs, telling you about the lows, and telling you about all the little wobbly bits in between. And when I say that, I don't mean my belly. Now, honestly, this week hasn't been about a massive weight loss number, because after a few mentally frustrating weeks, or possibly even months, I finally feel like I'm getting back into that rhythm again. I've got the gym, I've got that routine, I've got that consistency, and my mindset certainly feels a lot more positive than it has done, certainly a few weeks ago anyway, when I was all pity party, glum, sad. Used to all the videos, you know what I mean. And I'll be honest with you, losing that £1, sometimes it can feel better than losing £4 if it comes with that consistency. And that means the absolute world to me at the moment. It really means I feel like I'm back on the right road. I feel like I'm charging my way towards that goal of 16 stone. And that really is motivating me to carry on and motivating me to get there and do the healthy things, do the right things, eat the protein, eat the fibre, stay hydrated, and all those crazy things you have to do when you're on a weight loss journey. I said I was more consistent at the gym. I feel like I've got that a little bit of a bug back. I feel like it'll be 4 times this week. It was 3 times last week. Yeah, I'm aching. Yeah, I'm really sore. But for me, just to get that consistency back is a major win, and I'm absolutely loving it in the gym in the morning. Not so keen on the early starts because I always go before work, but for me, it feels like we've broken through a barrier. We're back on track again. What I wanted to talk about before we get into the questions that you've sent in, and if you do have a question for a weekly Q&A video, pop it down below, mark it Q&A, and you will feature on one of the future videos. There's never a silly question. I answer every question that's sent in. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is a couple of comments that I received a while ago. Now, this is not me having a go at anyone. This is not me being negative about anything. It's just me explaining my mindset, where I am in this weight loss journey. So it's been said a few times. Watched a few of your Yoda videos. You don't seem to have lost a lot of weight recently. 100% true. I get that. You are on the nail. I seem to go through stall after plateau, and it's been hard work, it's been mentally hard, and it's cost me a lot of money. Now, one of the things that was said was, why are you wasting all that money on Mounjaro, on that medication, when you haven't lost a lot of weight, or haven't lost a lot of weight recently? And you're right. However, if you label it weight loss, then yeah, I get it, I'm not losing weight. What about if we just flip it around and we say, okay, Manda's midlife, you're not on a weight loss journey now, you're on a maintenance journey. That completely changes the picture, doesn't it? That now means I've spent all that money and I've not put on weight, I've been maintaining my weight. I mean, in all fairness, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've lost £4 now. So I am losing a relatively small amount of weight, £1 a week on average. But if you change the label on what you're trying to achieve with this weight loss medication, it then becomes a positive, doesn't it? Yes, I am still trying to lose weight. I'm trying to reach that go weight. But for me, the massive positive, the huge takeaway is I've not put on any weight. I'm not getting bigger. I'm not getting chubbier. I'm not getting chins and all the rest of that crazy stuff that comes when you put on weight. Different perspectives, that's all it is. Different way of looking at something and putting a different label on it. And that's why I'm happy to spend the money on the weight loss medications every month. So to quickly summarise the last week, we are a pound down, that's 76 pounds in total now. The sun's shining, it's spring, the bike will be out of the shed soon. Right, it is now that time on a Saturday where I attempt to answer some of the questions that you've sent in. Now, please bear in mind, I am not a medical professional, I'm not medically trained, I'm not a fitness expert, I'm not a wellness expert. I am literally a middle-aged, chubby man who, in the last 10 months or so, has learned a bit about taking this medication, the side effects, how it makes you feel, and all that kind of stuff. This channel is all about sharing that knowledge with you, just as I look at YouTube videos to garner that knowledge and it helps me on my journey. This channel is about the community and sharing it with you guys. So that's all this is. It is not medical advice. If you're ever in any doubt, please speak to your medical professional or your pharmacy. It's as simple as that. So we've had some good questions sent in this week. We've only got a couple, but if you stick around, I'm sure the last question that I speak to you about today will blow your mind. But that'll be coming up in a little while. First up, we've got a question from Oracal1. Now, I've lost 76 pounds in 22 weeks. I've stayed on 2.5 milligrams. Last week was a smaller dose because that was what was left in the pen and I didn't want to throw it away. I watched a video by a doctor that said microdosing is useless and doesn't help. You may as well not bother taking GLP-1s. What are your thoughts? I was pleased with my progress, had no side effects, and have continued to steadily lose weight each week. Now I've started double guessing myself. Should I increase my dose, as that is what you're supposed to do? My initial prescription was for 5 milligrams based on my starting weight. However, I have never taken that. I've just picked up my third pen today and I'm wondering if I should go up to 5 milligrams. First things first, 76 pounds in 22 weeks with minimal side effects and you're still steadily losing weight. Personally, I wouldn't be panicking because one doctor online, you've watched a video, said that the lower doses or microdosing is useless. Your results literally prove it's working for you. I'll give you the same advice as what I took when I was on the lower doses when I started this journey, because I felt like I was forced to go up to 5 milligrams after doing 4 weeks at 2.5 milligrams. You do not need to do that. All you've got to ask yourself is it still working? And if it's still working, then you do not need to go up the dose. You know your journey better than anyone else. You know how you feel. Listen to your body, listen to the mental side of it, and you will be absolutely fine doing just what you're doing. So when the doctor was talking about microdosing, I think he was on about when people split a higher prescribed dose into smaller, more frequent doses. For example, your weekly dose is supposed to be 5 milligrams, but people take 2.5 milligrams every 3 to 4 days. The idea being that the medication levels within your body stay a little bit steadier and it sort of reduces the risks of food noise swings or hunger rebounds and that kind of stuff. Some people also find it gives them a more consistent appetite control throughout the week. I've never done that. It is something I was considering or I may consider again in the future, but there seems to be a lot of people doing it and it seems to be a lot of people that sing the praises of doing that. Ultimately, you're losing weight, you're doing well, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, so another question today, and this one is from Steve Donahue 6044. Another cool video. It's surprising how your words help. I really appreciate that. Thank you ever so much. That sort of makes all this effort worthwhile. Q&A. Due to having a couple of chronic health issues, I'm not able to exercise, which is more frustrating than it sounds. 4 months into my journey and I see some steady progress, but nothing ever more than 1 to 2 pounds per week. Often stay the same or 1 or 2 pounds up. Does anyone know of any ideas to help the 7.5 milligrams get a little more weight off? I'm currently taking around about 1600 to 1800 calories per day, high fibre, high protein, low carb and low fat. Thanks, Steve. Steve, you're doing really well. Honestly, £1 to £2 a week is really good progress. And you mentioned yourself you've got chronic health issues and you've got limited ability to exercise. You're doing amazing. If you continue like that, then you're going to continue losing weight and you're going to find yourself in a better position health-wise. The trouble being sometimes with stuff like social media and even YouTube videos, people make out they should be losing massive weight every week, but steady progress is progress that lasts. You're staying consistent, you're taking your protein, you're taking your fibre, you're within your calorie limits, you're doing everything right. You don't sound like someone that's failing to me. You sound like someone staying consistent despite difficult circumstances, and that really matters. Like I said to Arakawa on the previous question, just keep doing what you're doing. Ultimately, slow and steady is going to win this race for you. And with that steady £1 to £2 per week, you don't really need to go up a dose either. That 7.5 is working absolutely perfect, as it should do. So honestly, my opinion, not a medical professional, remember, stay on that dose, continue losing that £1 to £2 a week. You're heading in the right direction. It is thoroughly 100% a positive. You're doing really well. So now we've got a question from David Palmer at 5290. David, just want to quickly say thank you ever so much for buying me a coffee the other week. It really was appreciated. Thanks again for sending in questions like you do. Without the questions, there is no Q&A video because I can't do a Q&A video if you don't send in questions. So it is much appreciated and I thank you for that. Right, Q&A. Do you ever get really cold hands? I think I've heard of people on GLP-1 getting cold hands, or is it just me? I was talking about this a little bit during the winter and it was a horrible, cold, wet winter in the UK. I have never, ever felt as cold as I did in that last winter that we've just been through. It was horrible for me. I really struggled, really suffered. Even now, as we get into spring, the evenings, the daytimes have been quite warm in the UK, but the evenings start getting cold again. I still suffer. Middle of May, still struggling with the cold. It's not fun, is it, David? So I appreciate where you're coming from. The only thing I will say, I don't get cold hands. Everywhere else is freezing. Everywhere else I'm struggling. Everywhere else is shivering. Hands absolutely fine. But I noticed on a few other channels, certainly people of my sort of age, they have also struggled with the cold. I mean, a lot of that could be age related anyway, but certainly it only started when I lost a significant amount of weight. It's a great question, and it looks like you may well be wearing gloves throughout the summer as well, so enjoy that. Rightio, before we move on to the final question of today's video, and I promise you it's an absolute banger, so please stick around for it. I realised getting support online for weight loss medication is way less awkward than I expected. One thing I've genuinely liked recently is how straightforward the process has been with Bolt. No uncomfortable appointments, no pressure, just simple, clear and easy to use, and all done 100% online. I know a lot of people feel nervous when looking into this stuff, especially maybe when you're a little bit older, but honestly, sometimes taking the first step is the hardest part. Now, I'm going to leave a link in my description where there will be a discount voucher should you wish to use it. There is a link for Fella Health in the US, should you be in the US, and there is a link for Bolt Pharmacy in the UK. As always, make sure you're making the right decision, do your research. All I'm doing is sharing the option that I use and the company that I've trusted for the last few months. So the last question of today's Saturday Q&A and weekly update video is this one. And it's a cracker, I promise you. And it is from Angelo Miliotto 5227. Q&A. Can you tell us about all the plant greenery in your backgrounds in your home? Hello, by the way. I'm guessing they're talking about this. So what I've done, Angelo, is I've actually written you a little poem and I'm going to read it especially for you right now. This is for you, mate. Hello, hello, before the comments start to flow. The plants around the house may look thriving and grand, but none of them need water, soil or a hand. No sunlight, no feeding, no gardening flair, because every last one of them's fake. to be fair. A real plant in this house, it wouldn't last long. It'd see me walk in and know something was wrong. And that was written especially for you, Angelo. So I hope you cherish it, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it lives long in your heart. Quick thank you to everyone that supports the channel. There are numerous ways as well, you know, to support this channel. There is never any pressure to do such things. You can buy me a coffee, you can become a member. If I'm honest, it's enough for me that you just like this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It does all kinds of weird stuff to the algorithm on YouTube, and it really helps the channel. It helps the channel grow. As always, I appreciate spending a little bit of your Saturday with you. We are all time crunch, we're all busy people, and for you to sit there for 10, 12, however many minutes this video ends up being, I really do appreciate it. I am going to leave a few videos on the screen in a moment. If you could watch those, if you haven't already, that would be amazing too. I'm going to put my secret jabber one up there. I'm also going to put my most recent one just there, and that's where I talk about how Mounjaro became a last resort for me. I will see you all on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and as always, thank you so much for watching.